Chapter 8. Patrick. It's a few days later when I get up the nerve to ask Piper to do something with me again. She hasn't exactly been distant since the speed dating incident, but she hasn't been super chatty either. Still, I'm not going to get anywhere with her if I don't try. "Hey, Piper, do you like Scrabble?" She looks up at me with a cautious yet curious expression. "I do. Why do you ask?" "I host a game night once a month at my house with a few friends. We eat dinner, talk about life, and try to best each other. Tonight our game is Scrabble, and I thought it might be another good opportunity to practice talking with strangers. You know, work on those confidence skills for when the next promotion comes around." She nods. "I suppose it would be, but won't the other people be annoyed that I'm there?"
"Are you kidding me? We love when new people join us. No one will be annoyed. Will you come? It's at my house tonight, and it's taco night."
She presses her lips together and takes a deep breath. "I suppose for Scrabble I can try it once."
"For Scrabble, of course."
I figured the game would get her in the door, but I am determined that she'll like it so much that she'll want to come back every time we do it. I jot down my address for her and then try to focus on my remaining work. A nearly impossible task. When 5 o'clock rolls around that afternoon, I have to force myself not to bolt out of the building. Overeager is not a good look, but with Piper coming over, I have a ton to do. I pick up Amelia and then make a quick stop at the store for more food. "Didn't we already get food, Daddy?" Amelia asks as I throw more meat into the basket.
"We did, but a friend from work is coming tonight too, and I want to make sure we have plenty."
"Do I get to meet your friend?" she asks, bouncing up and down a little.
"Of course you do. We all eat dinner together, remember? But then you have to be good and take the other kids to your room to play so the adults can talk."
She nods sagely. "I know, Daddy." I grab some extra cheese, tortillas, tomatoes, and lettuce, and then we hit the checkout and head home. Amelia makes a beeline to her room to play for a bit, and I make a quick stop in my own room to change clothes and check my appearance before heading to the kitchen. We don't have a large house, but it's big enough for a 6-person dining table with room left over for 2 folding tables for the kids. There are also a few seats at the bar if necessary, and the floor plan is open enough that people who eat in the living room could still be a part of the conversation in the dining room if there were ever that many people there. It's not a perfect arrangement, but it works for now since the group is still relatively small. I pull out the vegetables and begin chopping them up and placing them in bowls. When that chore is finished, I turn to the meat and start it cooking on the stove. I'm no gourmet chef, but when Karen left and I had to start making meals for Amelia and me, I learned quickly to be a decent cook, and tacos is one of the things I do best. It's also easy. At 6:45, Travis and his wife show up. They are always the first to arrive, which is odd because they have 2 kids. I remember being constantly late when Amelia was little, and I only had her, but somehow they arrive early every time. The 2 kids scamper off to find Amelia, and Travis pulls up a bar stool and begins telling me about his meetings today. He works at a law firm with some interesting clients, so I never mind hearing what's going on. But sometimes he gets a little long-winded. His wife, Brittany, grabs plates and begins setting the table without me even asking. She's a good woman, and she makes me miss being married. One day, I hope to find a partner like her. At 10 to 6, Robin and Gary arrive, and at 6:55, the food is ready. I told Piper 7, but she's almost always early, so I wonder if she chickened out after all. "Is Chris not coming?" Robin asks as she checks her watch. I shake my head.
"She said she had a late meeting tonight, so she couldn't make it."
Chris is normally my partner when we play games with teams, So I was relieved when she told me she couldn't make it so I could invite Piper. I didn't want Piper to be the odd man out. However, if she doesn't show up, then I guess I'll be filling that role.
"Shall we start then?"
Travis asks, taking his seat at the table. The man loves food, and this is his common question every week.
"Can we wait just a few minutes? I invited a friend from work, and I'm hoping she'll show up."
"She?" Robin asks, lifting an eyebrow. "Are you sure she's just a friend?" Gossip isn't the right word for Robin, but she loves to be in the know, and she's been trying to set me up with people for the last year. None of them have worked out. As great as Robin is, she doesn't seem to know what I like in a woman.
"She is for now. Her last relationship ended a few days ago, and I'm not asking her to jump into another one that quickly. I am, however, trying to help her with her people skills and confidence. She's a bit analytical and introverted." "My kind of woman,"
Gary says under his breath. He's the introvert in our group, and I'm fairly certain that the only reason he comes is because Robin won't let him stay home. The two of them are a prime example of opposites attracting. When 7 p.m. hits and Piper still hasn't shown, I swallow my disappointment and lead the prayer so everyone can start eating. I shouldn't feel bad. I knew her coming here was a long shot, but I was hoping she would give it a chance. I've just filled my taco when the doorbell rings. It surprises me so much that I jump, sending some meat flying out of my taco. No one rings the doorbell on game nights. They just come right in because they're used to it. Piper wouldn't be, so it has to be her. I hurry to the door, trying to contain my excitement and throw it open. Piper stands on my doorstep, looking beautiful and extremely nervous at the same time. She's still in the same clothes she wore to work, but that's not surprising. I've never seen her in anything else. "Sorry I'm late," she says, frowning down at her phone. "The GPS routed me to some strange street, and I had to figure out how to get here." I wince.
"Sorry, I sometimes forget it's a newer development. I should have explained it better. That's my fault. But the good news is that we just started, and there's plenty of food to go around. Come on in."
The nervous energy radiating off her is nearly palpable as she steps into the house. I lead her over to the table and introduce her to the other couples. She smiles and says hi with each introduction, but I can tell she is out of her comfort zone.
"Here, grab a seat,"
I say, pointing to the chair next to me. I made sure and kept it open just in case she showed up, as I knew she would feel more comfortable sitting next to someone she knew. "This looks infinitely better than what my roommates were cooking for dinner tonight," she says as she scans the table.
"Oh yeah? What were they cooking?"
She wrinkles her nose and shakes her head. "I'm honestly not sure. My roommate Charlie is a personal trainer, and she's particular about balancing her macros. Tonight was her night, and whatever she was making was very green and very unappealing." I chuckle as I pick up my taco again. "How many roommates do you have?" Robin asks. I love that she's engaging Piper in the discussion. 4. We've been friends since high school, but we've only been living together a few years when we all returned from college."
4 roommates? Gary asks. "That sounds like my idea of a nightmare."
Robin glares at him and smacks his arm.
"What? You know I don't do a ton of people."
Piper smiles. "I get it. It's a busy house for sure. But they're my best friends, so I think it's a little easier. I do retire to my room often, though, when I need solitude. I, for one, think it's awesome that you have so many close friends," Robin says. "It shows how loyal you are." She smiles at me and nods. It is a clear indication of her approval, but it's so obvious that I worry it will scare Piper away. Thank you, she says, and thank you for letting me come. Oh, we always love new people, Brittany says, chiming in. Besides, now we're balanced, and maybe we can play boys against girls. It's Scrabble night. Did Patrick tell you?
Piper nods.
He did, and I couldn't pass up a good game of Scrabble. None of my roommates will play it with me.
Why not? Travis asks as he reaches for the items to make his second taco. A soft pink color blooms on Piper's face, and she shifts her gaze to the table.
I always win, she says softly. But in their defense, they didn't grow up playing like I did.
Robin smiles and pulls back her shoulders.
Well, now we definitely have to play boys against girls. They whooped us at Yahtzee last game night, so we could use a win tonight.
It will probably lean heavily in your favor with Piper on your side, I say, but we're not going to go easy on you.
I would expect nothing less, Robin says.
She's also very competitive, nearly as competitive as I am. The conversation shifts from the game to everyone's day and any struggles. Robin and Brittany make a point to include Piper in the conversation, which I am grateful for. Piper doesn't contribute much, but she does answer when asked a direct question, which I count as a win for her first time. When the food is gone, we clear the table, send the kids to Amelia's room, and pull out the Scrabble board. I can't wait to see if Piper is really as good as she says.